Welcome everyone to tonight's Ordinary Council meeting. I'm the Mayor, Councillor Ranka Rasik. I declare this meeting open at 6:30 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed on Council website. Brimbank City Council does not record the details of members of the public who view the live stream. An audio and video recording of the meeting will be published on Council's website after the meeting. This meeting of Council has been called to consider providing support for a ministerial amendment to apply a heritage overlay to the Sunshine Bali Terminal Station to Wright Street Sunshine for an interim period and providing direct city development, a delegation in relation to an application for permanent heritage overlay, and appointing a representative and substitute representative to the Municipal Association of Victoria. This will be the only businesses to be considered at this meeting. Please stand for acknowledgement of country. On behalf of Brimbank City Council, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Wurundjeri people, and pay our respect to elders past, present, and emerging. I ask councillors to remain standing for the council commitment. Others may be seated. As the council will act in the best interest of the Brimbank community and consider the immediate and long-term impacts of our decisions. We will make those decisions fairly and without bias. We will uphold all of our obligations under the law of Victoria and Council's local laws, and will act in accordance with our Code of Conduct. Please all take a seat. We've got two apologies for tonight. One of them is Councillor Liu and the other one is Councillor Dang. Item 4 is disclosure of conflict of interest. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? No, so we don't have any conflict of interest tonight. Item 5, designate of items as confidential. There are no items to be designated as confidential tonight. And item 6, we have our officer reports. There are two officer reports for consideration by council tonight. So first report is 6.1, amendments C226, Brim Interim Heritage Overlay, Sunshine Bali Terminal Silos, which we will, I would like to invite Director Kelvin Walsh to talk and present this report, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the purpose of this report is for Council to consider providing support for a ministerial amendment to apply the heritage overlay to the Sunshine Bali Terminal Station at 2 Wright Street in Sunshine for an interim period of 12 months, and also to give me, as the Director of City Development, delegation to seek authorisation from the Minister for Planning to prepare and exhibit an amendment to the Brimbank planning scheme to apply a permanent heritage overlay to the site. While the proposed protection is urgently required, as Council has received a demolition request in relation to the steel silos and related structures on the site, it is important for Council to note that since publishing the agenda and this report, the applicant withdrew the demolition application yesterday, the 13th of January. The owners of the site have asked me to advise Council that they deeply apologise for the unnecessary angst this has caused, and advise that they are absolutely committed to a collaborative approach with the community and council in determining the future role the site will play in the fabric of Sunshine moving forward. They advise that they come from a position that the best outcome will be one that creates a meaningful and positive impact for all stakeholders. However, the officer recommendation is that Council provides support to the Minister for Planning to prepare the planning scheme amendment C226 to include the Sunshine Bali Terminal at 2 Wright Street Sunshine on the heritage overlay in the Brimbank planning scheme for an interim period of 12 months, as outlined in the explanatory report at attachment 3. and that the Minister approves the amendment in accordance with Section 20, Part 4 of the Planning and Environment Act, known as a ministerial amendment. Also, that we write to the Council writes to the landowners and occupiers of 2 Wright Street, advising them of Council's support for the ministerial amendment, and the Council provides further advice and information when the Minister makes a decision about the amendment. In addition, Council resolves that following completion of the heritage citation for the Sunshine Barley Terminal silos at 2 Wright Street, that you authorise me as the Director for City Development to seek authorisation from the Minister of Planning to prepare and exhibit an amendment to the planning scheme to apply a permanent heritage overlay to the site under Section 8A2 of the Act, and subject to the Minister's authorisation, exhibit the amendment for 1 month in accordance with Section 19 of the Act. In addition, officers recommend that you delegate to me as Director of City Development endorsement to make any changes required by the Minister for Planning as part of any conditional authorisation in relation to an amendment to apply the permanent heritage controls. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So, councillors, are there any questions or points of clarification? No? Is there a mover or a seconder? We've got a Bruce Lancashire, Councillor Bruce Lancashire.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the officer's recommendation in the report.
Thank you. Councillor Sam David, is there a seconder?
Seconded, Madam Mayor, yes.
Yeah. I invite Councillor Bruce Lancashire, a move of a motion to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I would like to discuss this matter. First of all, I'd like to thank the officers for their careful monitoring of this site and processes that they've been involved in, and also thank the work of the previous Heritage Committee. This matter had been discussed by the Heritage Committee, and the Heritage Committee had supported the officer's recommendation for the process that we now have in train. It was certainly hoped that this would be an ongoing amendment procedure to look at including this site or consideration of this site as a heritage site. At the time, a procedure was put in place should we detect that any demolition order came in, and that was supported by the Heritage Committee, that we would enact a more urgent approach to come to Council should that occur. Now, regretfully, that's exactly what did happen. They've lodged their demolition order on not the concrete silos, but the metal silos and other works relating to the site. And that has then, of course, been picked up by our officers and triggered this action, which has resulted in a special council meeting. Certainly a very detailed report has now been put forward by the officers. So again, thanks for their work. However, as we've had explained, they have now withdrawn the application for demolition. However, that certainly doesn't alleviate our concerns, or I believe it doesn't alleviate our concerns that if we did nothing, that we couldn't in another week have another application lodged. So I think it's prudent what the officers are recommending, that we now take process.
Excuse me, Councillor Lancashire, you've got 20 seconds left. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's prudent that we now follow through with this recommendation to seek ministerial approval for this interim control and put this into a heritage control. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I invite Councillor Sam David. Second our motion to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I'm going to take you a little bit back, going back in early years when they're building the silos. Here in Sunshine, we call them silos, by the way. Now, at that time, I was going to South Melbourne as an apprentice, and every morning and every night, we used to watch them building them. Every day of the week, it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually they came to a stage where they started works. Look, I've got no doubt that we're doing the right thing with the report tonight, and thank you, Kelvin, for putting such a good report before us. And indeed show us so many modern silos in the world, and locally the fixtures we saw in some of the older type of silos around the Australia. Look, it's in 2019 we had the Sunshine Silos projection. That was the Victorian connection, and I was got a surprise as to how many people there. Some of the councillors remember. I think Councillor Borgie was there. Councillor Virginia Takos was there. It was thousands and thousands of people came from nowhere. I was surprised. Yes, and I think they love the silos, and it's our job to make sure that we keep them as we go along. And I fully support the report, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Does anyone else wish to speak for the motion? Councillor Virginia Takos, please.
Thank you, Mayor. In the words of local community historian Tony Smith, the silos bookend our city. They capture the recent past, but also our aspirations going forward. Not only are they iconic from a heritage point of view, they are a marker of the labour, industrial and agriculture history of our city. Three important points I wish to quickly make to illustrate this. The first point is that the silos are built and located in the historical Braybrook Junction Railway that joins Victoria's City and Geelong, Ballarat and Bendigo regions to allow transportation and storage of the annual barley and wheat harvests. Huge numbers of city and country rail users pass the Sunshine silos every single day, and they act as a regular reminder of the close connection of our city to rural and other communities at the time of colonisation. The second point is the strategic connectivity of Sunshine to rural and regional areas is also represented historically by building of silos at both 2 Wright Street and also at Albion, adjacent to the heritage listed Darling Flour Mills. So these two sets of silos are like bookmarks to the east and west axis of Sunshine, CBD area, and are seen as iconic landmarks for Sunshine and Albion's future joining up together. And the last...
You've got Councillor Takos, 20 seconds left.
Thank you. And the last thing I'd like to mention is what Councillor David said, is that they have been in a local landmark with TV media and advertising, and they are recognisable across Victoria, and were used most recently where I and fellow councillors attended, and there were over thousands of people attending. That was probably one of the biggest sense.
Thank you. Sorry, thank you.
That's okay.
I would like to, yes, thank you, Victoria, Councillor Victoria Borg. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would also like to echo more or less what already has been said by my fellow councillors. According to the preliminary heritage assessment by Heritage Alliance in July 2020, it is possible that the silo is the only bulk grains storage terminal in Melbourne. And that's certainly saying a lot in terms of the significance of these silos. Given the nomination of the site by the community as a site of potential significance and the listing of silos on other heritage overlays and the Victorian Heritage Register, it would be important for Council to undertake further investigation of the site in the form of heritage assessment. I would like to take this opportunity to thank, first of all, the members of the community who have been working very hard to make sure that proper processes are in place and in a timely manner, especially when the property was to be sold and the chances of the demolition of the silos were very high. I would also like to thank Kelvin and the staff, as well as the Heritage Advisory Committee of the last council term, for their continuous hard work and for mobilizing very quickly this meeting and to provide such a highly informative report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Borg. Does anyone else have anything to say, speak for the motion? Thank you, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Jasmine Nguyen.
Everyone, thanks to Kelvin and the team, and also the Heritage Advisory Committee for speaking for the Sunshine Silos, which are pretty iconic. There's been considerable community support to preserving the silos. I'd like to say that, it would be good to preserve our heritage, but also consider the future uses and benefits for our community as well. So I think it's a good direction that there will be community council and owner consultation to see what the future plans are for the site. Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Nguyen. Does anyone wish to speak for the motion? Anyone against the motion? No? Okay. I put motion to vote. All in favour, please raise your hands. Nine. Yep, thank you. So no one is against it. So I declare this motion carried. Thank you. So we're going to go to item 6.2. Appointment of MAV representative and substitute representative. And I would like to invite Director Dan Hogan to present this report, please.
Apologies, Madam Mayor. The MAV is the peak representative body for Victorian local government. The MAV is a paid membership association offering councils specialist policy and advocacy, governance and legislative advice, sector development, insurance and procurement services. As a participating member council of the MAV, Brimbank must appoint a representative and substitute representative. These appointments are being brought forward in order to facilitate the election of the MAV's management board, which is scheduled for the 5th of March. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any questions or points of clarification? No. Is there a mover of a motion? Thank you, Councillor Bruce Lancashire. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Sam David. I invite Councillor Bruce Lancashire, a mover motion to speak to the motion.
Madam Mayor, if I could just move the motion, because I need to insert a particular reference that Council appoints the Mayor, Councillor Rankarazic, as Council's representative to the Municipal Association of Victoria. And item B, appoints Councillor Jasmine Nguyen as the Council's substitute representative to the Municipal Association of Victoria. And item C, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to complete and provide to the Municipal Association of Victoria the appointment form at attachment 1, inclusive of personal details as requested. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I invite Councillor Sam David, second of a motion to speak. Thank you, Councillor.
Just equal those words said by Councillor Lancashire. I support those nominations, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor David. Does anyone else wish to speak for the motion? Against? Okay. I put the motion to vote. All in favour, please raise your hand. Okay, so we have everyone in favour, so I will declare this motion carried. Thank you. Thank you all for attending and for your interest in tonight's meeting. I declare this meeting closed at 6:51. I instruct host to stop recording this meeting. Thank you.